I'm here with Dr. Chris Shade. Chris, we just had 2 lectures in this particular session. The first one was on cannabinoids.
Yep.
Brilliant lecture by Gregory Smith, and then you followed, and tying into that sort of line of reasoning, you sort of used the cannabinoids and you inserted them into the detox system as an anti-inflammatory approach, but you gave a much broader lecture. I have to say that that was the best lecture on human detoxification that I've ever heard. So it's taken you many years to get it down to only 43 minutes.
Yeah.
And we had to buy the extra 8 minutes.
We did.
Yeah, so I appreciate you fitting it all in. But it's a whole system, so the reason we as clinicians don't have great success is that we're only taking one piece of the system. So you're talking about activating, linking, grabbing it into the sewer system, making sure it doesn't come out a side window and then go right back, and then ultimately dealing with inflammatory signaling and ultimately into the cannabinoid system, which is the last thing. But how would you describe for the public how complicated and yet how simple it has become for you?
Yeah, it's really great because I used to talk more biochemistry because it seemed more complicated, but it's gotten similar. It's gotten simpler, and so there's this. You got the toxins are in there causing problems. You got to link them to something. You got to push them through the liver into the GI. You got to make sure that gets out, and that's actually pretty simple. Link it, push it. Make sure it goes all the way out. But you start thinking about a bigger question of why are the toxins all building up? Yeah, we're exposed to them all the time, but what happens is people get locked and they stop getting them out, and then they become toxin accumulators or toxin retainers. And you look to the culprit for that, and broadly it's inflammation. But as we look deeper, it became an overused term. Inflammation, okay, an anti-inflammatory fixes it. Well, why is there inflammation? And so we look at 2 things I look at. One is stress-driven inflammation, and the other is dietary cardiometabolic inflammation. And so when we're fed all the time, and especially when we have a lot of carbohydrates, we actually generate a vascular inflammation. There's this low-grade inflammation. It just starts building, and then you're getting insulin resistance, and it's building, and the inflammation is blocking detox at a cellular level, but it's also starting to block it at this liver level. And the liver is no longer taking toxins, dumping into the bile, dumping into the bile. And the intermediary in there, the membranes, are not doing what they're supposed to do. You and I were talking yesterday, I was showing you some data on how when membrane health is right, the cells actually resonate. They have an oscillation in them. And then when membrane health is lost, you lose that oscillation. And being fed all the time and not having periods of fasting leads you into losing all that. And stress locks up that flow of the toxins. Stress locks everything. I'm not moving anything while I'm stressed except my body, because I have a situation here, a fight or flight situation. There's a danger situation, and I'm turning off all of the movement and regeneration, and I'm running the hell out of there. And so our chronic poor eating and our chronic stress are working from different angles to lock up this whole natural movement of toxins out of the body.
So you're saying something in more simple terms. We have to make choices.
Yeah.
So whether it's a chicken or the egg, we run out of overall ability to move things because we lack energy. So our NAD levels are low, our ATP levels are lower than they should, so then we have to make choices. We can't detox and build at the same time.
Yes, because we're low and we have to prioritize. And so I wanted to insert that because I always talk about prioritization. When you don't have enough energy, you have to prioritize. What am I going to do? What am I not going to do? And in your control of stress, there's a neurological level at which you create this prioritization. My priority is to run away, not to regenerate. But we create these priorities.
Right.
What am I going to eat? When am I going to eat it? When am I not going to eat? Those are all choices that are part of our priority system that are either leading us to constantly getting healthier or constantly getting worse.
Well, thank you so much for that brief summary of that brilliant lecture that hopefully all of us will be able to watch over time.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.